So after um, after you done the sketch, you're going to import this image into the designergravit.io, and you're going to trace it. Now, what I want you to do is actually make these brush strokes that we talked about, where it's a pointy uh, at each end and then some in the middle. So you can see that all of these, well, actually, that's a little heavy. You can do, so a little heavy. So I would do it more like this. So let me see. This is a man here. I'm going to hide some of these. Okay, no, that's this actually, these images that I needed to hide. Where are they? All the way at the top. Hide these. And I want to unhide these paths, I guess. Um, so when you're drawing tracing the superhero, you should do one muscle at a time. You should have like, you have here your trapezoid, which again, you see that it's pointy on each end. Let me just hide some of this, the guide. And you see that the, the trapezoid is a single brushstroke that is pointy at both ends and fat in the middle, and that's more like an S shape. But here you can see the shoulder muscle is just a basic brushstroke, pointy at both ends and fat in the middle. And another shoulder muscle, same thing. So you're going to do one brushstroke per muscle. Don't try to do this whole one. It's pointy ends and then one in the middle. Uh, Most of the time you might get like an S shape, like a tricep here, or a bicep here. You got more of a complicated shape. Uh, Here the forearm, you can see that is pointy at the thing, and it goes into the wrist. I have the elbow. It's just an elbow, and I have the forearm. Again, it's just a simple stroke. So a lot of these things are just simple strokes. You see the neck, it's just that. So you're going to do a basic. Let me put the guide back on. And so I have the neck because I actually imported a head that you can actually go do for, like, if you want to do anime hair, because you want to replace the head with another face because it doesn't have a face. Let me see. They're at this one. Where's the head for this one? Here it is. So there's without the image, and there's with the image with the hair. And try to match the ears because he's looking in a different direction. But now I have, because he's got the jaw here, I had to move the neck over to here and the trapezoid to here. So if I wanted to do the pectoral muscle here, all you do is just end of the half circle, center of the circle, end of the circle, and then add some thickness to it like this. And then with the white arrow, select the two in the middle and add a curve here. Boom, like that. That's it. Maybe you can just make it a little thinner or thicker depending on how much you want to create it. Maybe you can just bring it in here so it could just kind of bring into the chest. Then this pectoral muscle, I can probably make it into one. So I go and then let's see, here, here, and then I can just use the scroll wheel here, add a border, hide the fill, and I'm just gonna end it there. So give it more of a chisel look. So I got pointy ends, and then in the center you make it thick like this to make it into a brush stroke like that. Um, if you look at it, it's a little, well, it's actually okay. It's a little angular. So you can take the white arrow, select those points, add a curve, scroll down to the joint curve, and add a mirrored curve. Now that's a little bit too much. What you can do is, again, hide the fill and do one at a time, because this is kind of tricky. So we don't want these arms crossing. So try to make these very short, you know, because you see how these control arms are just so long, especially when they're close to each other. But if you make them short, and also don't do it perpendicular, try to follow the path. So it's just as you're like if you're driving, try to follow the path like that. And now that looks a little better, like that. So I'll leave it like that. So I'll take this and then delete the outline. You don't need it anymore. And there's my the brush stroke I made for that. So if you were drawing a belt, you would you just draw the belt like this, like that. Add some thickness to it, like that, and make it black. Actually, let's just look at hide that, and let's just look at the outline because we need to fix to see if it looks a little lumpy. Right now it looks a little lumpy. Let's add a curve right there. Again, let's try to not make it so long. This one's okay like that. And add a curve here. There, a curve here. This was kind of straight. I'm going to add a curve there just to smooth it out. There you go. So now I have the thickness of a belt here, just a line, a belt line. It's not actually the belt, but it's a brush stroke. Okay, so, okay, I'm going to make it dark and get rid of the outline. And then, you know, I can repeat or copy. I'm going to just copy this line. I'm going to get the black arrow, Control C to copy, Control V to paste, and I can move this up here. So I just made a copy of it. So I have my belt. It's just a line. It's just a line. It's just brush strokes. Okay, you got to remember, think about brush strokes. Now, I'm going to add a belt buckle. Let's see. I'm going to put it here. Right. Oh, here's the center. You can see the center line, so you can see where to put the belt buckle right there. And I'm just going to make this simple. So I'm going to add an outline. Maybe make it right there. And I'm going to get rid of the fill. It's just a belt buckle like that. You can just scale it like this. There. So remember to try to use as much brush strokes as you can. So that's this is the male superhero. Let me zoom in into the face a little bit. You can see that a lot of these, that's a brush stroke. These are brush strokes, and you see that they end in the little pointy end. And so, like if you're doing this nostril, just do end of the circle, center of the circle, end of the circle, and then add some thickness like this. Now I'm going to zoom in because it's like and then I'm going to select the middle with the white and add a border. Okay, I'm going to hide this. Now I'm going to reshape it like that. We can look like a nostril. And this is just the thickness of the stroke. So I'm going to make this black. And then delete, don't forget to delete the border there. And that makes the nostril a little bit. Then you can also rearrange it, fix it like that. Okay. So also now let's look at who is this? The female. And you can see a lot of the brush strokes. There's a lot of detail that was put into this character. It's one of the female girls they added. Let me see the way this one. Okay, so again, we're going to just don't draw a straight line. Draw a brush stroke. Okay. So in some areas you might have to draw like we did the belt buckle, but most of the time you're going to do 99% of the time you're going to be doing a brush stroke. So like let's say here, like one muscle at a time. So this could be one muscle here. I can just do that, and you know what? I'll just leave it there. Just make it simple. Now it's because it's thick here. I'm going to do two of them like that, and then I'm going to move this more to the waist right there. Select these, add a curve, then hide this, individually adjust the curve like that. 10 minutes in this video. Usually these videos only last like 15 before it shuts off. Kind of weird. Well, it's free, I guess. Oops. So I'm trying to make it a curve, and trying to match the drawing. It looks a little thin up here. Okay, so this look is looking a little too thin. Watch this. Like that. And I delete this. If I delete this, now you can see that this is way too thin up here, right? You can change that. Just add a curve. But then you're going to get this big sausage-like thing. So you just have to make it just small enough. So it's like that. So it's not so thin. Yeah, there you go. Let me just hide the image so you can see what's going on. Guide there. So that's that muscle right there, and there's the belt. All right. So yeah. So I hope this was helpful and making. So remember to do one brush stroke per muscle. All right. Thanks. Bye.